and you just want to point out that I can already read.
I understand what you're expressing to me is stuff that actually has to be addressed in court.
You have discretion. That's what y'all like to throw around, correct?
Well, I'm letting
so
you know with
discretion
discretion.
is you can withdraw this shit by understanding I'm telling you 100% truth. But you don't want to do that. You'd rather be an ignorant.
Hey, so, you're not going to curse anymore.
That's not okay.
Well,
No, that is okay.
I can say anything I want to say. Yes, I can.
There is not a public space.
If I cuss again in a public space, what are you going to do?
Here we go again. Welcome back to the BZWATCHDOG channel, your home for accountability, public records, and the occasional venomous plot twist. Today's episode is proudly sourced from Snakes and Pigs. Go show him some love. Hit subscribe on his channel and check out the full body cam videos after this. Myrtle Beach International Airport. Our guy Jesse is told by Delta, just run in real quick and pick up your venomous snakes. Because what would possibly go wrong with the words real quick and venomous in the same sentence? Jesse follows the instructions, pops inside for a couple of minutes, and while he's obeying Delta's timeline, Horry County Police Department's very own Officer O'Dell executes the classic drive-by ticket, zips up, pens the paper, and disappears faster than transparency at a budget meeting. Jesse returns, finds a surprise love note on his windshield, and calls for police help. Enter Officer Sandi Jones of Horry County PD, who actually tries to talk like a human and get Jesse moving along. But then, cue the dramatic music, Officer O'Dell returns for the sequel. Jesse exercises his First Amendment with some spicy adjectives, and O'Dell's feelings file a formal complaint. Suddenly, we're conducting an airport lobby referendum. Excuse me, were you offended by words you didn't even hear? Congratulations, folks. The Horry County Police Department offended O-meter has detected a vibe, and Probable Cause is now being manufactured fresh, tableside. So buckle up, snakes, tickets, and tender egos. Today's got it all. Before we roll the footage, smash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a comment for the algorithm. Shout out again to Snakes and Pigs for the receipts. All right, let's get into the fun-filled action.
Good. But y'all keep track of the time that you write these tickets?
Yeah, it's on the ticket.
It is on the ticket at the time of the violation, sir. Right there.
Okay. So 1809. So you watched me step out that car and then put the ticket on.
Nope. There was nobody in that car.
There was no one in that car. You didn't watch that.
Nope.
I was less than 2 minutes when I had a Delta employee tell me to step in that door down there.
Okay.
Come back out less than 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, sir, this is not courtroom, right?
You're right. It's not a courtroom.
So what I
was
do
thinking
recommend.
maybe you'd be a fucking human being. Is what
I am being a human being. I'm telling you where your court date is. Here's your court
I know
date.
what my
It's going
court.
to be
I can
August
read
13th.
all that shit. I thought you'd be a human being about this thing, and understand.
Well, sir, there
I
are
have somebody from an airline, exactly, and that's why I sat on the phone call with the damn airline saying, "Look, I'm in the front. How do I do this? What do I do?" And I said, "I can't stay here," and she said, "It's okay. I'll meet you right at the door.
Okay.
Step right here and sign
And you can have her come to the courtroom and say that.
So, well, I'll do that, and like I said, we'll tie up the court's time, the jury's time, everybody's time.
That's fine.
Y'all don't care as cops because fucking, shit don't come out of your pocket. It comes out the fucking taxpayers. That's why it's, just all cocky. Oh, we have a court date, Horry County Police are some corrupt fucks. I've met you before, and you've been all right every time I've talked to you. I appreciate that. I don't know you. Don't got a bad word to say. But, I think that you need to work on your fucking, self a little bit. You're still young. Hopefully you become a good officer. But this type of shit and somebody kind of trying to talk to you like a human, and you just want to point out the shit that I can already read.
I understand what you're expressing to me is stuff that actually has to be addressed in court.
It
And that's
doesn't
what I'm
have
trying
to be
to
nothing.
let you know.
It can be, I understand you had somebody from an airport tell you to do something. You can walk right there and say, "Did you tell this man to step in here so he could sign this paper?" And that it'd be okay for a minute.
That still doesn't
and
excuse.
they say yes.
Hold on.
I understand that it's still. I understand that it's still a no parking, whatever. My point is you have discretion. That's what y'all like to throw around, correct?
Well, I'm letting
so
you know with
discretion
discretion.
is you can withdraw this shit by understanding I'm telling you 100% truth. But you don't want to do that. You'd rather be an ignorant fucking cunt.
Hey,
so you're not going to curse anymore.
That's not okay.
Well, that is okay. I can say anything I want to say. Yes, I can.
There is not a public space.
If I cuss again in a public space, what are you going to do?
It is
What are you going to do?
It is considered disorderly conduct, sir, and you can actually be placed under arrest for that. It is actually because you are causing a scene.
It is the First Amendment. People can hear you. I am telling you. I'm telling you right now. I can say any cuss word I want in front of anybody.
To an extent, sir. But you are currently causing a scene. So what I recommend doing,
is all I'm doing.
Okay, and what I recommend doing is to go in your car and drive off.
Shut the fuck up and mind your business.
Okay, have a good rest of your day, sir.
We're gonna talk about it if she shuts her fucking. What a fucking dumpster cut.
Here comes the Feeling Patrol. Woo, woo, woo. Watch closely as Officer Odell clocks in, not with a body cam, but with a barometer for hurt vibes. Jesse's standing there minding his very venomous business, and Odell decides the real emergency isn't public safety. It's her emotional safety. Suddenly we're running the offendometer in the middle of the airport. Did those words you didn't hear offend you? If Probable Cause were a cooking show, she's plating it tableside, garnished with hypotheticals, served extra salty. You can literally see the script being written in real time. Poke, prod, bait, repeat. It's the Create a Crime starter pack. Just add feelings and stir. Jesse, to his credit, is ready to leave. But Odell? She's narrating for the imaginary crowd, dropping sound bites she hopes makes the paperwork pop. It's less law enforcement and more live theater. Less misinterpretations. Every time she tosses another line over Jesse's shoulder, you can feel the temperature rise, because nothing says public peace like trying to start an argument with the person you're supposedly calming. All right, smash, like, hit, subscribe if you're allergic to manufactured outrage, and let's roll the footage.
Hey, sir, how are you doing? Can I help you?
Yeah, I wanted to know who wrote that.
Well, it was Officer Odell.
Okay, is Officer Odell around?
We'll find out.
Please, yeah.
Good.
I'm just very frustrated because I had an employee literally tell me I sat in this car on the phone. Correction.
So what's wrong now?
Well, what's wrong is I was just picking up some venomous snakes that was shipped in.
Uh-huh.
I sat in this car and I called Delta Cargo, which is right inside the door. I wasn't right here. I was up there.
Okay.
All right. They told me, step inside the door right here, please. Sign this paper. I said, my car's out here. They said, you'll be out for 1 minute. I was less than 2 minutes, so 120 seconds. Less than that. And he puts this on my car.
She puts down your car because that's where it's Delta has no business telling you that you can park on this curb because there are signs. See all those red signs? See all those blue signs? It says warnings. You cannot leave your car unattended at any point in time.
Well,
so that's a Delta problem, or whoever told you it was okay to go inside.
You're right, but obviously she sat there and watched for me to step out that car inside that door. The amount of time that took, that's absolutely got to be the case.
Well, even if that's the case, you still can't leave your car parked at the curb.
Well,
I mean, if I'm standing right here and you leave your vehicle, I still have a right to write you a ticket.
You're right. You might have that right, look, this is a conversation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I got you.
It's a conversation. But, same thing, like, let's just say he tells me something to do something, you know what I mean? He's the, if we're dealing with just the police, he tells me to do something, I fucking do it because he's a cop, so I say, all right, cool, I do that. I'm in an airport. I'm listening to an airline, step in here real quick, sign this paper, you're good. Cool, all right. So I do what I'm told,
I understand. I understand everything you're saying, okay? But do keep this in mind, okay?
Yeah.
This is a public roadway, okay? Yeah. And Delta, whomever the employee was, should not have told you that, okay?
Yeah.
Now, is she coming to talk? Okay, I'm going to talk to you, but just kind of giving you a heads up on that.
That's fine.
I mean,
she'll either withdraw this or we'll drag fucking airport employees and everybody to court over a $40 parking ticket.
Well, you have that right to do so. You have the right. You have a court date on there. You'll definitely be able to tell the judge exactly what happened. and to be left up to that judge to determine it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be up to a jury.
Well,
I won't go with just a damn judge on it. So
I got you. Whatever you prefer.
Y'all keep track of the time that you write these tickets?
Yeah, it's on
Yep,
the
it
ticket.
should be on the ticket.
Where's it at? Okay, so 1809. So you watched me step out that car and then put the ticket on.
Nope.
You didn't.
There was nobody in that car.
There was no one in that car. You didn't watch that. I was less than 2 minutes when I had a Delta employee tell me to step in that door now. Come back out less than 2 minutes. For that. You're right, it's not a courtroom. I was thinking maybe you'd be a fucking human being is what I thought.
I'm telling you what your court date is.
I know what my court, I can read all that shit. I thought you'd be a human being about this thing, you know, and understand I have somebody from an airline. Exactly, and that's why I sat on the phone call with the damn airline saying, look, I'm in the front, how do I do this? What do I do? And I said, I can't stay here. And she said, it's okay, I'll meet you right at the door. Step right here and sign
You can
this.
have her come to the courtroom and say that.
So, well, I'll do that, you know, and like I said, we'll tie up the court's time, the jury's time, everybody's time. Y'all don't care as cops because fucking, you know, shit don't come out of your pocket, it comes out the fucking taxpayers. That's why it's, you know, just all cocky. You have a court date, you know. Horry County Police are some corrupt fucks. I've met you before, and you've been all right every time I talk to you. I appreciate that. You know, I don't know you. I don't got a bad word to say. But, you know, I think that you need to work on your fucking, you know, self a little bit. You're still young. Hopefully you become a good officer. But this type of shit and somebody kind of trying to talk to you like a human, you know, and you just want to point out the shit that I can already
I
read.
understand what you're expressing to me is stuff that actually has to be addressed in court.
It doesn't have to be nothing. It can be, I understand you had somebody from an airport tell you to do something. You can walk right there and say, did you tell this man to step in here so he can sign this paper? And then it'd be okay for a minute? And they say yes. I understand that it's still a no parking, whatever. My point is you have discretion. That's what y'all like to throw around, correct? So your discretion is you can withdraw this shit by understanding I'm telling you 100% truth. But you don't want to do that. You'd rather be an ignorant fucking cunt.
Hey,
So
that's not okay.
why
None of that is okay.
I can say anything
No,
I
you
want to say.
cannot.
Yes,
No, you
I can.
cannot. There is not a
If I
public space.
if I cuss again in a public space, what are you going to do?
There's a
What are
possibility-
you going to do?
It is considered disorderly conduct, sir, and you can actually
No,
be placed under
cussing
arrest
in
for
fucking
that.
public is not disorderly conduct.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It is the First Amendment. I am telling you, I'm telling you right now, I can say any cuss word I want in front of anybody
To
here.
an extent, sir.
You know,
You
not
are
to an extent.
currently-
I can
you are
say fuck,
currently
I can say
causing
anything.
a scene. So
No,
what I
I'm
recommend
talking to
you-
y'all is all I'm doing.
Okay, and I
Listen, I'm
recommend
done with you.
doing
I'm done with
is
you.
go
You've
to
been all right.
Come
Shut
on,
the
let's
fuck
just
up
talk.
and mind your business,
Let's just
bitch.
talk a minute, okay? Listen,
Yeah, we're going to talk a minute if she
Look.
shuts her fucking...
Look.
What
okay?
a fucking dumpster cunt.
Listen. No, listen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pissed.
But I understand.
Yeah.
But listen to me, okay? Being pissed at this point in time is not going to do nothing but lead to other things, okay?
Yeah.
Let's not let that happen. All you have to do is go show
I'll
up
tell you
for
what,
that court time.
I'm
Talk
going to
to
leave
that
here.
judge, okay?
I'm going to leave here.
That's the
and
best
without
thing to do.
saying another word.
I appreciate it.
But one thing you need to understand too now is you cannot arrest somebody for cussing in fucking public. If you want to do it, please hook me up, please.
Sir, listen.
I will file a lawsuit quick.
Discretion, okay?
Come on, come on,
Listen.
come on.
Listen.
Mind your business. I'm talking with
Okay,
her. You
okay.
just shut
Listen,
the fuck up.
I'm
Yeah, I'm pissed. Yeah.
Let's not let that happen. All you have to do is
I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave here. I'm going to leave here. And without saying another word,
I appreciate it.
but one thing you need to understand too now is you cannot arrest somebody for cussing in fucking public. If you want to do it, please hook me up, please. I will file a lawsuit quick.
Just so you know, there is a kid right here staring at you, so I suggest you get in your car right now.
Mind your business. I'm talking with her. You just shut the fuck up. And I'm trying to talk to you.
Is he disturbing y'all?
Oh yeah, we're all disturbed.
Perfect. Under arrest. All right, sir. So this is what you're gonna do. Put your hands behind your back,
What am I under
sir.
arrest for?
For disorderly conduct, you are currently disturbing that family right there.
Okay. I'm disturbing them talking to a cop.
You're disturbing them by cursing and yelling, sir.
Oh,
that is considered causing a scene in the
yell at
public,
nothing.
which is disorderly conduct.
I ain't yelling nothing. So I
Perfect.
cuffs. So I
Can you go grab? Thank you.
Trunk?
Yes,
I got you.
I'll get the flow sheet.
Call center 633.
Since you do like her, she's going to transport you to
That's
the
fine.
jail, okay?
You want to play games like this over fucking somebody cussing? That's okay. This is a lawsuit all day long.
Okay,
I
sir.
can cuss all I want.
Sir, to
So-
an extent, you cannot cause a scene
It's
when
not
doing
an
that.
extent.
If
I
you were
was
using
standing here
an
talking
indoor
to her.
voice?
I was talking to her, not talking to you no more, and you want to stand over and keep saying shit to me. All you're doing is trying to provoke.
Do you have anything on you that's going to stick me,
You're
poke me, or
trying to
hurt me?
provoke. I don't answer questions.
Okay. I do have to search your person, sir. So do you have anything on you that is going to stick me, poke
I
me, or
don't
hurt me?
answer questions.
I'm going to take that as a no, sir.
I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Well, those live animals there need to stay out of this car. Well, animal control ain't going to be a good one for that one. I might call my old lady to pick them up. Because animal control ain't going to know what to do with them. They're venomous snakes.
Would you like to keep your cash on you or put it
Yeah,
back
I
in this
want all
car?
my stuff on me.
Perfect. I don't know if they're going to let you bring these in. Can I put that in the car?
Somewhere if you want.
All right, I'm going to put them in the
There's
car
a set
for you,
bond
okay?
on this thing, and I'll be paying that as soon as I get over there, and then we'll just file the fucking lawsuit.
That is perfectly fine. Is your car on lock, sir?
I know. No, I don't give you permission to get in my car.
Do you want me to put the screws in it or not?
I don't give you permission to get in my
Okay.
car.
Screws are going up here.
I'd like my phone in my pocket too. Can you please pick that up? I don't want to litter.
Sure, I can do that.
And my change fell out.
I can grab that. If you give me a second to finish the search, I will be more than happy to grab that for you, okay? You said that your phone's in your pocket,
No,
but
my
I did
phone's
not
laying
feel
right
it.
there on the roof.
Oh, okay. I
would like
apologize.
that.
I misheard
I'd like
that.
my phone to come with me.
Perfect. That is perfectly
You don't
fine.
let the camera stop either.
It is not, sir. It is currently recording at all times.
Yep.
All right. Can you spread your feet, please, for
Which
me?
is also recorded.
Thank you. I do need you to keep your balance for this last part. Can you lean forward a little bit for me so you can keep your balance?
As far as I can go, I got a bad back.
Perfect. Just try to keep your balance as best for me, okay?
Oh, I got my balance.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, and there you go.
Once we go ahead.
Hit me in the fucking nuts too, huh?
No, sir, you just gotta make sure that there is nothing being
intentionally
smuggled up
hit me
in
in
there.
the nuts there too.
Okay, well, I do have to make sure there is nothing being smuggled up in there.
Yeah, you can search and make sure, but to hit me like that was fucked.
Okay, I did not hit you,
Yeah,
sir.
you did, and you did it on purpose. That's fine. It's
Okay,
on camera. That's
I'm
fine.
sorry you feel that way, sir.
That's fine. It's on camera. Whatever.
Where's Sandy with that truck?
You know, am I
I'm
physically
going
resistant in any
to have
way?
you move this way.
Am I
okay?
physically resistant in any way? Then please
Stay
take
tight
your
with
fucking
him.
hand off me. All them don't stand.
I just don't want you to fall, sir, since you do have handcuffs on. Oh, but you got handcuffs on behind you, so I don't want you to fall.
Yeah, literally. So it's okay.
No, sir, you are currently placed under arrest for disorderly conduct.
And you can try that all you want.
So all these points
My
that fell
First
out
Amendment fucking speech.
going right here.
I can cuss all day long.
I'm going to have you
I can
have
cuss
a
all
seat
day
right
fucking
here,
long.
Okay?
Every fucking second.
I can't reach that.
I can cuss all fucking day.
So I was going to go in the
so you
front
intentionally
seat.
stopped my fucking camera like I told you not to.
I didn't touch it.
No, he just done it. I watched him fucking do it.
Can you put the screws back in
I
there,
watched
sir?
him do it. Boy, y'all are fucking some real fucking scumbags. Real scumbags.
On Center 64, be advised.
Over cussing. You think you can arrest me? You really think you can lawfully do this? Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but you can't lawfully do it. And then you cram this right cuff on like a motherfucker, like I'm resisting you physically because I'm talking. Because I'm saying shit using my mouth. Fucking, yeah.
Can you hang tight with them real quick? I apologize for that. Can you go ahead and notify animal control? Apparently there are snakes in this car that we are about to tow.
Here we read the South Carolina Code so you don't have to. Today's lesson, disorderly conduct, aka stop being annoying in public. Maybe. The statute says 3 main no-nos. A, being grossly drunk or acting boisterous in public. B, using obscene or profane language in public within earshot of a school or church. And C, doing dumb stuff with a gun near a road. That's the law, not poetry. Translation: cussing at an airport isn't automatically illegal, unless your gate is suddenly a Sunday school. Now, the courts, South Carolina's High Court already told officers, raising your voice at police isn't a crime unless you're using fighting words. You know, the kind that are likely to make the person you're talking to swing. That case is State versus Perkins. The convictions got tossed, so volume equals villainy. The Court of Appeals co-signed in City of Landrum versus Surratt. Profane language alone doesn't violate the disorderly conduct statute. You need more, like fighting words or being obviously plastered. So, salty words by themselves, still speech. And just to put a federal bow on it, the U.S. Supreme Court said in City of Houston versus Hill, the First Amendment protects a significant amount of verbal criticism and challenge directed at police. And as my lawyer told the prosecutor, being an asshole isn't a crime. It's just the normal Friday. Now we move on to that manufacturing probable cause thing. Probable cause has to exist at the moment of arrest based on objective facts the officer actually knows, not on a scavenger hunt for bystanders who might say they felt offended after the fact. South Carolina courts say PC is fixed as of the time of arrest, and the Fourth Circuit has smacked down officers who pad or omit facts to conjure PC in the paperwork. Translation: you can't build a case out of vibes. Yes, there are outlier cases, like a recent Sullivan's Island conviction where a person allegedly screamed slurs at 2 a.m. in a residential area. Not our facts, not our venue, and it turned on context, not mere profanity. So what did Jesse do? He committed the age-old offense that I know about, contempt of cop. Not a real statute, just the unofficial misdemeanor of hurting an officer's feelings. I've done this plenty of times. Under South Carolina law and the cases I just named, Jesse's words alone didn't check the boxes for disorderly conduct. No school or church in earshot for the cussing prong. No evidence of gross intoxication, and no fighting words aimed to start a brawl. That's why the speech is protected. So, smallest cop, biggest ego, I'm not naming names. But if the badge needs bubble wrap for its feelings, that's not probable cause. That's probable pouting. Jesse didn't break the disorderly conduct law. He broke the unwritten rule. Don't sass the state. Guilty of contempt of cop. Roll the tape.
Hey, Basil. I'm sorry. This is Justin Wyatt, Horry County Police. How are you, sir?
How you doing, sir?
I'm sorry I missed your phone call. I was going through the drive-thru when you called. What can I do for you, sir?
I was calling to ask you a few questions about your department. Kind of doing a news story, and I just kind of wanted to. First off, how big of a department are you, sir?
So, altogether with sworn and non-sworn, we have 476 people.
Wow, okay, that's pretty big. Are you guys city or county, or how does that work with your department? Because I noticed it said county on the side.
So, we're a little bit of both. So, we are a county police department.
How does that work?
There are several that. There's several of them across the country, like up in Maryland, there's one in North Carolina, a couple in Georgia. So it's kind of like a metropolitan police department.
Okay.
Some of the municipalities have individual police departments that do within their jurisdictions, but we do the unincorporated police. So like even if it's not in the city limits, we police it. There is a sheriff in the county, and they have a role and a job. But the police department does a different job. We answer the 911 calls. We do the criminal investigations for the county, whereas the sheriff's department, they serve papers, they serve warrants, they protect the courthouse, they service the jail. That's how they operate. So it's It's unique for South Carolina, but not unique for the country. Gotcha, I got you. Well, see, normally when we talk to journalists, we go through our public information.
Right.
I don't mind talking to you a little bit, but there's some things I'm just not going to tell you. I'm going to refer you to our public information department, but I'll help you the best I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A well-known county police department that you may be aware of is Gwinnett County in Atlanta.
Okay.
Gwinnett County Police Department. So they have one of those that's real big. Montgomery County in Maryland. If you remember way back when they had the Beltway shooters.
No, I don't. Was that the son and father sniper team?
It
no?
was.
Okay.
It was. But they're a county police agency.
Okay.
So what you normally see with county polices is large geographical areas, which Horry County is a large geographic area. And it's a high population is ever growing in Horry County.
Okay.
You see is the county police model seems to work.
Okay.
Nothing against the sheriff system whatsoever, but that's just the way it has been set up since the early 50s, I believe.
Are you in charge of the department, or are you second or third in command?
So I am one of 3 deputy chiefs. So we have the chief of police, who is appointed by county council. So there's 12 county council members who are all elected.
Okay. And
then they elect or they appoint an administrator for the county, and then the administrator appoints the chief.
And what are if I wanted to be the chief of police or a deputy chief, what would be my qualifications with your department to hold that position?
Well, for the chief Lenhart was promoted last October, so he hasn't been there quite a year yet. I don't remember what all the job qualifications were, and forgive me for not remembering that, but it was executive leadership for so many years. I think it was 3+ years of executive leadership. A degree was preferred, or equivalent experience. And forgive me, I don't recall what all the other requirements were. I did not put in to become chief, so I don't recall.
Well, you're a deputy chief. Yeah, you're a deputy chief, so you can relate more to that. So that'll be fine. What are your qualifications as a deputy chief?
So as a deputy chief level, that is a appointed position by the chief of police, and that you had to be a captain within the police department for two plus years. Once again, the degree preferred, and then executive leadership classes. I've been with the county police for 21 years.
Okay, so you've been there though pretty much the whole time.
Yes, sir. I had a short stint when I went to somewhere else, but other than that, I've been local.
Okay. Having restraint. There you go. What kind of training do you guys get to have restraint as far as a verbal altercation?
Well, we do de-escalation training. I mean, throughout our careers, it's not just a one and done by any sense of the imagination. There's constant training for all law enforcement officers, not just for our agency, but all in general. We value de-escalation training. We concentrate on it throughout an officer's career. It varies from year to year because training trends change. I mean, to try to say that there is one common goal or one common fix-all for all types of training would be a misstep. You always want to evaluate and reevaluate your training every year. Good departments do that. And you always want to concentrate on de-escalation because of that. Because officers need that.
Person that may fit an area of a statute of disorderly conduct, would that be something you guys would give them an opportunity? Something to where you give them a warning to basically correct the behavior before citing or arresting somebody? Do you guys typically give someone an opportunity to correct?
Everything's situational dependent. It's hard to answer that question. I wouldn't be able to answer that question just because every situation is different. There's 10 billion different situations that could come into play.
Okay, well, let me give you a simple one.
Really a hard question.
If you're talking to someone and for some reason somebody gets mad at you for whatever reason and just calls you an effing a-hole, and I'm trying to keep my language clear because I don't like to cuss at people, but if something to that effect, you're in a public setting, obviously not like in a private setting, would you warn them that they could be in jeopardy of disturbing the peace or committing disorderly conduct and giving them an opportunity to correct their behavior? Or at that point, would you get to the point that you determine that they broke the law, or get upset and determine that they broke the law based on your feelings being hurt?
I can go back to every situation. I mean, there's always, when you say a public location, is a public location crowded? Is it full of children? Is it full of families? Is it an empty parking lot that's public? I mean, there's so many variables to that
Well, I mean,
it's just hard to answer. It's just hard to answer that question.
Well, Deputy Chief, that should be an easy one. I mean, you see, I'm hoping that you're a reasonable officer, because, I mean, if it was me, I would think that if it happened once, you'd give the person an opportunity to correct the behavior before you did anything. I mean, that's what
we would like to, but
like I said, if it happened once.
Policy procedure, or there's no policy procedure or law that says we have to give anybody that warning. Would I like to get that warning? Sure. But at the end of the day, do we have to? No, it's situational dependent. There's no fix-all to that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If there aren't too many people around, you have 3 officers there, and somebody called you a name you didn't like, and it only happened once so far at that point, would you give them a warning, or would that just be an automatic a disorderly conduct violation in a public setting?
I don't know, and I have a feeling I'm talking about one specific case on this one.
I know that some people will either take it like a champ and not say a word. There's some people that will give you a warning to correct your behavior, and then there's just poor judgment and poor discretion where an officer will just lay hands on, and then it's escalation, and usually doesn't look well for a city or a department at that point. I'm hoping that your officers, and I'm hoping that the incident that you may be referring to may be a isolated incident within your department. That's why I'm calling to ask you directly about some situations and scenarios, because if it's not just a one-on case, then it seems like it is a common practice with your department. Now, if this is an isolated incident, then, then hopefully the issue has been addressed and correctional measures are being taken with that officer, because officers, they swear an oath. They wear that badge. They have a gun on them. I mean, and I'm sure you've seen some very violent crimes where somebody gets mad and that gun comes out. That's not restraint. And it would be easy for an officer to do that because they wear a gun on their hip every day. I'm just hoping that your officers get enough training, and ongoing training, obviously, not just one time at an academy, that they are getting a lot of the training to be able to restrain and not let their feelings get involved. I mean, I understand if the person went to a school or a place of worship and was just continuously being loud, boisterous, and swearing, and officers showed up and said, "Hey, you need to knock it off," and they said, "F you, copper, go deep throat a boot, I'm not gonna stop," and and then obviously the people were maybe fixing to riot and hurt someone because he wouldn't stop. I can understand maybe a situation like that to where it would incite violence, because there's plenty of case law on that. It just, my mere words and profanity isn't enough to be arrested in a normal public atmosphere.
I feel like our officers do have a good bit of restraint here with Horry County. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's human. I mean, that's just a matter of life.
Sure.
But we do have good officers that work for us. We do have good restraint. We do have good training.
I'm not saying that you don't have good officers, but You know,
I know that.
What do you do with the bad officers, though?
We have the procedures, and if there's a violation of policy, there's a violation of procedures, then we take action.
Okay. And what? Now, a typical policy violation, and I know policies can range from, I don't know, not checking your fuel in the car to, you know, breaking the law. You know, that's extreme.
Yes, sir.
What kind of I guess you could say disciplinary action does your department have on the low end and have on the extreme end and in between?
I mean, it goes all the way from verbal counseling all the way up to termination. I mean, it runs the entire gambit.
Okay, but not every.
I mean,
but not every scenario is the same. You could agree with that, correct?
100%.
Okay. Now, are your officers given discretion, or are they just given orders that they must follow?
They're given discretion. Our officers have discretion as per their policy.
Okay. So if
and per the law.
Right. So if an officer decided to, say, get upset at something that was said, they have the discretion at that point to make an arrest based on their feelings, or based on just the violation of the law, or both, or neither?
I think it's situational. What crime committed, where it was at. I mean, I know where you're going with this, and I see your stance on this. Don't get me wrong, I do, and I understand. People have a freedom of speech. People absolutely have a right to voice that freedom of speech to the government. And as an officer, an extension of government, I discount that whatsoever. It's near and dear to my heart, matter of fact.
Well, it's like you have the right to bear arms. I think everybody should have the right to bear arms, just like everybody should have the right to free speech.
Absolutely, and I don't discount that. But a lot of times, it's a matter for the courts to figure out.
I'm glad you said that, because that brings up another question. So, is it common practice for officers to say, "Oh well, I don't care. You let the courts decide because I have qualified immunity and nothing's ever going to happen to me"? Is that just a normal common? Is that a department policy, or is that like a common practice among officers nationwide?
Don't know anything about that one. I don't know anything about that comment.
I hear that so much from officers that I don't care. You just deal with it in court. Take it up with the court. It's up to courts to decide. It don't matter. Nothing's going to happen to me. Your complaints won't go anywhere because I've got qualified immunity. Now, I am paraphrasing there, but that seems to be the mentality.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing that last part.
I got you. Would not dare speak.
And
I would not dare speak for anybody, or not for anybody, but for any law enforcement agent. I feel like the courts are there to make sure that we do not overstep our bounds as law enforcement officers. We are not the judges. We do not the final say. We live in a great country, and it was set up so that there is that check, so that there is that balance. And I trust that system.
Well, I would hope that we would all, trust that system. And you said it's Justin Wyatt, right? Okay. My question to you, sir, is this. I used to have faith in the system. The reason I don't is because officers lie on affidavits all the time. I've seen it. Almost all my affidavits have got some sort of twist the narrative or lie to it, or just flat out a lie. The prosecutors are not looking at the evidence. The judges are not looking at probable cause during probable cause hearings. And we're having to waste taxpayer dollars because of poor discretion, bad judgment, lazy, corrupt officials, and then we get all the way to the courtroom setting, and then we get a jury who believe that cops can't do no wrong when the cop wasn't being honest to begin with. Somebody gets convicted because nobody's doing their job up to this point, including the jury. And then you have to file for an appeal if you've got the money, which means that the lawyers are getting all the money. And then when it finally gets overturned, the department's getting sued and the taxpayers are having to front the bill, and nothing ever happens to the police officer that started all this. So I understand that you say you have faith in the system. I have lost faith in the system. That's why I reach out to people like yourself in charge for ongoing training, getting rid of their bad apples, making sure that they don't just jump ship and go to another department when they screw up. You know, it's...
And, you know, I appreciate that. It is sad that you've lost faith, and I hate that. It saddens me. It does. And I get your point of view. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to have a philosophical debate with you because I get it. I mean, and I'm not going to tell you that the system has not wronged people.
But you know where the front line is? You guys are the front line. You guys need to show more restraint and be more honest and be the peace officers that you're supposed to be instead of law enforcers and feelings enforcement, and stop arresting people. You know, and this is why I think 6 weeks in the academy or 6 months in the academy is not enough. Do you know that in Europe, people have to go to school for 2 and 3 years to become a peace officer? And they always try to de-escalate.
I won't disagree with you.
They don't try to, they're trained and effective in de-escalation because a lot of them aren't even allowed to carry weapons unless you belong to a special teams over there because of their strict right to bear arms laws that they have. So their officers there have a lot more restraint. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have some bad apples as well. They certainly do. But it seems that, like, in our society in the United States of America, and by the way, I'm a veteran too, by the way, so I honored my oath.
Well, thank you for your service, sir.
And I still honor my oath.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that, but my whole thing is every single officer that signs up to do the job, as shitty as the job may be sometimes, I get it. You know, you guys have honored an oath, not to your fellow brother in blue, not to any individual, but to the Constitution, not only of the state, but the federal United States Constitution. We, the people, who are supposed to be served and protected by those that are given that not only that power, but that responsibility. That power is being abused every single day. And this is why I reach out to departments after I see what happens and transpired. If you notice, I haven't cussed you out. I haven't screamed at you. I like to have conversations with people because...
No, sir, you have been very respectful, and I appreciate that. And I'll be honest, I have been cussed out here a lot lately. And I do appreciate you, and that's why I've had this conversation with you. Because I don't mind having a conversation, respectfully. I don't have a problem with it.
But do you know why?
I do appreciate you on that.
But do you know why police officers get screamed at and abused the way they do? Because they have attitudes. They have attitudes. Instead of trying to de-escalate and calm, they get their feels all hurt, and they escalate the situation. In fact, if you want to go back to the situation that I'm referring to, Officer Odell completely escalated, threw some gas on that fire, while Sandi Jones was actually doing her job and de-escalate. Now, that's after she got her feels hurt. You know, she got her feelings hurt. Have you noticed the only person in that party was the guy that didn't get his feelings hurt because, yeah, the words that were said were directed towards women. I get it. Look, at that point, you know, officers have a duty to intervene. Sandi Jones was de-escalating. And what did Officer Odell do? She was so butthurt and little pretty that she is, she's used to getting her way, decided to go solicit, which is manufacturing probable cause. That's against the law. There's case law on it. To literally try to now get he offended me, which is not in your statute. It's not offended. It's nowhere in that statute of 530 that I've read. There's the word offended is not in there whatsoever. And decided to take it upon herself to arrest the gentleman that I'm sure you know who he is, when Sandi Jones had, obviously she was the initial officer that responded, your citation issued officer is now retaliating. This is not going to look good in court. This is going to get dismissed. And your taxpayers are going to have to suffer. And Officer Odell's probably not going to even get counseling or training on this because she's just used to getting her way. I could tell by her little pretty nails and her little pretty self and her feelings getting hurt. She doesn't have what it takes to be an officer. She doesn't even have the customer service level skills. This woman really needs to go get a job as a model, because that's the kind of mentality she has. Is pretty, I get my way, or just find a rich husband. I mean, she has no business being a police officer. In fact, I'm sorry, I don't believe women should be police officers, period. They can't keep up with the men. I mean, let's just be frank. You need to be in shape and physical stamina to be able to overpower someone and arrest someone if it needs to come to that. Women panic and get their feelings involved. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that. I just, that's just kind of where I stand with women in the field. I mean, I don't know if you feel that same way or not, and I don't even know if you can speak on that. But
everybody's entitled to their opinion, Mr. Basil, but I do appreciate our conversation today, but I am going to have to get off the phone because it is 5:30 and I am walking into the house.
Oh, is it that late there? I'm sorry. You know what? You're an hour ahead of me. I've completely forgot the time frame, sir. But I just want to, I do want to appreciate you taking my call. Like I said, I don't cuss and swear. I may address a little bit of my frustration, throw a little policy, a little law out there, because I want to get the system fixed. I don't want to continue to see this every day. Now, don't be mistaken if you get a little publicity about this. Just because it's with everything going on, the last thing I need taken from me is my speech. So, I mean, as you know, you said you respect that. So, that's the last thing that needs to go. That's the first thing that was given to us. That's going to be the last thing that I fought for this country for to give up, in all honesty. But with that, sir, I'm going to let you go. You have a wonderful night, and I appreciate you taking my call, and I appreciate everything that you do, and I really hope that you guys take that situation with Officer Odell serious.
Yes, sir. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. All right, folks, that's today's episode of Contempt of Cop, the musical, starring Officer Odell, fun size with a party-sized ego, and our guy Jesse, guilty of the ancient and unspeakable crime of hurting government feelings. The Handcuffs, brought to you by Probable Pouting, now with 20% more pearl clutching. And after that phone call with her deputy chief, Justin Wyatt, yeah, I get it now. Snakes and Pigs isn't just a channel name, it's a vibe. If you want the full body cam saga, uncut and unseasoned, go to Snakes and Pigs and hit subscribe. The link is down below. Show him some love, show him watch time, and while you're there, check the snake shorts. He's got literal snakes, and well, the metaphorical one showed up on shift. Remember, your rights don't expire where someone's badge caught feelings. Redress your government peacefully, lawfully, and relentlessly. Make a phone call to the department. Mail a letter to the chief or the mayor. Send an email that's polite, pointed, and permanent. They serve us. We don't serve them. Hot tip. Truth fits great in the public record. If this circus gave you heartburn and a renewed appreciation for the First Amendment, do the YouTube thing. Smash, like, hit, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss when accountability drops. Want to help keep the lights on? You can toss a donation via PayPal or Cash App. Become a channel member for $2.99 a month to get early access and uncensored body cam. And pick up some BZWATCHDOG merch so your wardrobe can also demand transparency. Jesse didn't break the disorderly conduct law. He broke the unwritten rule. Don't sass the state. And around here, we sass responsibly. Because at the end of the day, sunlight is still the best disinfectant. And we've got gallons of sunlight. I'm BZWATCHDOG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for standing up. And as always, roll the tape, and I'll see you in the next one. BZWATCHDOG, out.
BZWATCHDOG.